At what point does the government stop highlighting the accomplishing of the smallest, most basic achievement? Look, the provision of water to a community is not small to the person who has never had piped water. It is definitely not small and insignificant. It will, in some respects, change their life. But it's not a government achievement when 30 years later, for the first time, a rural community in KZN or anywhere across the country has piped water. I sat agog when on my TV screen on Newsroom Africa, I saw the president presiding over the opening of a tap. He presided over the opening of the tap, and there's a very happy Goga alongside him. There's the ANC provincial chairperson on the other side of him, and he's surrounded by VIP protection officers, and they're turning on a tap for the first time. It's in the Bhekindoda area in rural KZN. Bhekindoda is in the Umkwanyakude district municipality. It neighbors the Jozini Dam, the Pongola Dam. It's the 6th largest dam in South Africa. And people of Bhekindoda only this week got access to piped water. It's part of the Bhekindoda water scheme. And what infuriates me even more in that it's no victory, Mr. President, when in 2020 there was in fact a forensic investigation into corruption that saw critical infrastructure, like providing water to rural communities, that was not delivered because the money was stolen. In fact, Mbali Ntuli, who is a former MP or MPL in the provincial legislature in KZN, said this in the tweet by Newsroom Africa of the president in Jozini local municipality at the official opening of the Bhekindoda water scheme, the opening of a tap in this particular property of this particular gogo. Mbali Ntuli says, my old constituency, never mind that that is one of KZN's biggest dams in this very municipality, but I once uncovered through questions that the current premier's then husband was given a tender to his company and dumped tons of pipes meant to be used to supply water to the municipality. I went to various places the community directed me to and took pictures of this. Despite numerous follow-ups, questions, motions, etc., somehow the answers kept being fudged, even though there were whistleblowers who quickly went quiet. A scandal, I suppose I should say alleged, now that I don't have parliamentary privilege as I'm no longer an MP. That community continues to be completely impoverished despite literally watching the water and even fishing that they cannot do in their own backyard. In 2020, there was a report that residents claimed that they were sharing water with livestock, even though they were in proximity of one of the country's biggest dams, the Jozini Dam. And at the weekend, Cyril Ramaphosa presided over the opening of a tap. At what point do you stop counting the number of taps that you've delivered, but instead count the fewer people who fall ill from waterborne diseases? At what point do you pat yourself on the back because you've built a bridge over a swollen river instead of counting the number of children who have access to education? At what point do you stop congratulating yourself for the opening of a tap? Yes, it's part of a broader water scheme to a community that has not had water in decades of a democratic government. But it is 30 years on. Maybe it's optics. Maybe the photo opportunity should have been at the broader water reticulation plant. Maybe it should have been at the Jozini Dam that feeds the Bhekindoda reservoir, which then gets piped to the residents of Bhekindoda. But at what point do you stop congratulating yourself for literally presiding over the opening of a tap. It's absolutely wonderful. Great news. The people of Bhekindoda's lives will be changed. But at what point do you just quietly go about doing your job instead of congratulating yourself for being a fish that is supposed to be swimming? That is what bothers me. And I'm sure the closer we get to election time, the more we will hear of these smaller projects. We should actually just be a fait accompli. You should actually just do them because it is your job, and not congratulate yourself because we finally got it done. But we couldn't get it done in the last few years because the money for that project was in fact simply stolen. You actually just have to read the state capture report, the Zondo Commission of Inquiry, that also speaks of water boards in KZN province where money was also stolen. Money that should have gone to infrastructure, that should have provided people with the most basic of human rights. Water, poof, gone, stolen. Corruption has a human face. Thankfully, for the Goga and Bhekindoda, she gets to smile because now she doesn't have to walk kilometers to get water. She can just walk out of her home and find a pipe tap there. But at what point does the government stop patting themselves on the back for simply doing the right thing?